Welcome, my brother.
Hello, hello. How are you doing today?
I am doing all right. Is Come Now your brother, your blood brother, or what happens? You
He-
people.
we are brothers in the diaspora who do a lot of things together, so he's one of us.
Yes, 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 yes.
Yeah, and
Welcome, welcome.
Asante, and don't worry about the name. The name fits whichever you feel would work. I'm fine with it. So let's get on with it. Yes, Asante, Asante.
Thank you, thank you, thank you. So let us first of all give a few minutes to introduce. I give you an opportunity to introduce yourself. There are people who may want to know you deeper than just Ralph Kilondu. Where do you come from? What do you do? And where did you come from before you migrated to the US? Just take a minute and introduce yourself.
I thank you very much for allowing me to be on this platform. It's been a long time coming. Actually, we've been discussing and talking with you about this for quite a while now.
Oh, yes.
But the day is today, and let's have a conversation. Thank you again for having me here. My name is Ralph Kilondu. I live in Atlanta, Georgia, where I've been for almost 20 something years now. But before that, I used to live in Kenya, in Nairobi, to be very exact. Sorry about that. Did I?
No, you're good.
Oh, I'm good. Okay. Yeah, I used to live in Kenya. I've been brought and raised up in Nairobi, and I've been a businessman all this time, even when I was in Kenya. So I have been in the diaspora for a minute now. Of course, having migrated to this place, sorry, from Kenya, and I come from Machakos. For those who might not be knowing where I come from, Machakos is my home county, but I'm a part of the Kenyan diaspora out in the U.S. In the U.S., I'm a businessman. I do a lot of things, and yes, I think I've also had a moment to have you with me in many of the forums that you normally take part in, and I'm glad to be here with you now. Thank you.
Awesome. Thank you so much. We'll continue and discuss so many things as we proceed. So I want to take this opportunity and welcome our viewers wherever you are. You can share the links with your friends. You can start a watch party wherever you are. You can actually share this with your fiancé or your boyfriend or your girlfriend or even your brother or your mom or your dad, whoever. And I believe that by the end of this show, will be motivated. The trumpet of hope. We want to let people know that there is hope. There are people who are making it. Despite the negative issues going on, despite the challenges going on, despite the COVID, there are people who are succeeding in the diaspora. For over 20 years, Ralph Kilondu has been in the US and he is succeeding and doing very well. We have been complaining of domestic issues, domestic violence. We have been talking about mental illness or mental health. We have been talking about children and bringing them up. Hey, this is the right person to tell you a few things about such issues. So feel welcome, and the trumpet of hope is here, and we are here to do these things together. You can send a message, you can send a comment on the Facebook Live or on the YouTube, and we are going to see it right here. So tell us, we had the debates, and I know you are also very particular about the situation, the political situations and environment, especially as a business person. So tell us, how serious and how important is the 2020 November 3rd election?
That's a very important point that you bring about, because again, this is a country where we live. Some of us have been in business for the longest of times, and a lot of the decisions being made in this country are really affecting all of us directly, not just in terms of business, but how we live, how we communicate, and how we do our things within the counties where we live. This country has changed a lot the past few years. The last 3, 4 years have been just chaotic for all of us, and I don't want to talk about which political inclination I'm looking at, but I think it is important for all of us to join the discourse and be a part of that narrative. For those that can vote, really, I think it's important we go out and vote. I have tripped, I have actually made sure that all my kids have gotten their ballots, and we are all actually all going to vote, and we must take part in this discourse because it's affecting all of us one way or the other. When you look at the Supreme Court, what's coming up there, that's going to have an effect on all of us if this president actually goes ahead and does this confirmation take place. I mean, there are a lot of things that are really affecting all of us in a lot of ways. I think it's time we reclaim back the American glory for those who are people who can actually vote like us. If we can't vote right about now, I think something is very wrong with us. And if you have not made up your mind as to who you're going to vote by now, really, I think there's a problem somewhere. And if you cannot vote, and if you know people who are able to vote, I think you need to marshal them and carry them and take them to the polling booth on that polling day. Just play your part, whether you have papers or not. Just get them in your car, identify who they are, and if even at the places where you work, there are a lot of people who talk about a lot of negatives, that my vote does not count. You can do that by explaining to those people in there why it is important for that particular vote that needs to be cast, because without it, we're going to have what we had in the last elections, and I'm afraid for ourselves. So yes, let's go vote. Let's make a change. Let's be proactive. And for those who are able to sit out and be a part of the discourse, leadership positions in this country, I think it is time we started having a Kenyan face in the American Congress and even the local elections within the counties where we live. Thank you.
Good. You have been very much involved with so many, quite a number of community organizations. Would you give us a picture or an example or examples of the many organizations that you work with? I know you work with Come Now. I know you are in the issues of mental health. I know you are in the issues of the elders, the diaspora, the Kenyan elders in the diaspora. I know, and I see Ben Koizava elder is somewhere watching and listening to this program. So tell us your involvement in the Kenyan community organizations and the importance of not just sitting in one's own house and going out there to get involved.
Thank you again, Bona Captain. I'm humbled by that intro. I've been a part of a lot of activities in the US for those 20 years that I've been around here. I believe in partnerships. I believe in moments where you have to sit down and look for the outside and bring it within and identify what your confines are like. And that's what I've actually built over the years. I am a founder of many organizations, some of them that have been quite successful. One that I can bring about to talk about right about now would be the Kenya USA Diaspora Circle, which was founded in 2012. It's been in existence for about 6 years now. I think it's a leading diaspora circle right about now because we've managed to help our diaspora community by helping them mobilize funds and invest in Kenya in a very big way. For the lack of a better word, we have a lot of those who are actually taking care of their people in Kenya, putting up properties and also assisting others do business in this country. We are talking about assets that are running to the tune of about 1 billion Kenya shillings. That's a very successful diaspora story that we actually have in here. Before that, I used to be a member of an organization that helped me grow up in the US, the Association of Kenyan Professionals in Atlanta, which actually opened up a lot of avenues, even when it comes to having government folks come over to the US to try and identify the people they can work with over here. Days of Equity Bank, before it became a very big bank. I remember James Mwangi, they used to come over to this country in a lot of ways. Ongari Mathai, Professor Kitui, we met all of them. And through the initial conversations we had with them, we started developing a mass movement of getting to know each other beyond our homes. I've also been a part of an organization that has been also taking doctors to Kenya from the US, where we go and assist Kenyan communities out there, get some medical treatment for free. I was a part of that discussion, that trip back in 2016, where we treated close to 5,000 Kenyans in a span of
Awesome.
1 week in Elbagon, in Nakuru, in Machakos, and Nairobi. We saved a lot of lives. We partnered with also the medical institutions in Kenya. You find that the needs in all those parts are all the same. I've also been involved in helping educate children from poor families in Kenya, where we have touched close to about 300 children move from primary school to secondary school and university. And I mean, just being a part of that outside, the outward moment of being able to reach out has also blessed me in a lot of ways. There's happiness, and there are blessings in giving. Being a part of and contributing, being a part of the larger community. You help everybody grow. And when you all grow together, we all become powerful together. Of course, I will definitely also remember that we are part of the Diaspora Global Diaspora One Voice, where we have teamed up with other leaders from various sectors within this country, people who are doing diverse activities. You know, we have the lawyers who are of Kenyan origin. We have the Men initiative that is led by Kamnao. We have the Kenya Scholars and Studies Association that is scholarly, that has the Kenyan teaching fraternity in the universities over here. There are a bunch of them. So we have all come up together. And forgive me for not mentioning all the others, because there are many of them that have come together.
Awesome.
What we're trying to do is we're trying to create one voice where we are going to bring in all these organizations together for the benefit of all the Kenyans who are out here, so that we can enable the Kenyan government get good advice from the resources that we have in here for the betterment of our country and also ourselves in here. So I believe in taking part. And there's something you started with when you started the conversation, where you said that our work is to keep on bashing Kenya from here. We say so many things that are negative about our country, but there are so many nice things that are also happening.
Sure.
I chose to sit on the other side, where I want to be a part of that growth. And there is promise in Kenya. I believe in that.
This is very interesting. Our conversation tonight is with Ralph Kilondu, all the way from Machakos, and over 20 years he has been in Atlanta, Georgia, or in the US. He is involved in so many wonderful organizations that give back to the society, not just here, but even back in Kenya. One of the things that I would maybe capitalize on out of all of the organizations is the Diaspora Circle. I would wish maybe you can tell a little bit deeper, or dig a little bit deeper about the Diaspora Circle, because I know the people you are talking to and with, and those who will come after, they would wish to hear something like that, because many of us have lost a lot of money, either to our brothers, to our cousins, to our aunties, to our moms. I was talking to somebody who sent money from Saudi Arabia to her mom, and over 400,000 Kenya shillings all went to the drain. The mom never constructed the building that she had promised to construct for her daughter.
That was the reason why we founded the Kenya USA Diaspora Circle in 2012.
Yes.
We used to hear certain cases of that kind with the former ambassador Odembo. I remember there was a lady who camped at his office for 12 hours, not knowing what to do because she lost her money through the father, a lot of money. But again, we have the Diaspora Circle, which has actually come to alleviate all those problems, and we have been very successful in making sure that we don't have any of those issues. What we do as an organization is we are a member-owned institution, where every member of the Diaspora Circle owns the institution through the power of the vote. We have a very proactive and diverse board of directors who I happen to sit in the executive team of that Diaspora Circle, where I sit as honorary secretary. And we have made sure that we work diligently to ensure that member funds are well taken care of.
Sure.
I will be honest with you, and if there's anybody out there who can dispute this, may God find me a religion. We have never lost a member's coin since inception. We have never had an issue where people are giving us money to invest for them and lost anything for them. We are the first diaspora circle that has actually started paying out dividends. This is the second or third year that you're paying dividends, meaning that people are making money from their investments within the organization, and they're also taking part in ensuring that they are in charge of the institution by electing the board of directors that they do need. So we made it, and that's a very important thing that you bring about, because even within us, they normally ask us whether we are those Kenyan briefcase people, because we used to be called the briefcase officers who are coming from Kenya to come and do business here. But we are diaspora members like anybody else who's in here. We own assets here. We have children in here. We have businesses. We work in here. So the pain of the diaspora person who lives in here, we feel it. And as we feel that, the thing about that is we are also very accountable to what we normally do. And thank you very much for bringing that up. That is our website. And on the homepage, you can see those houses. That's a project that this Diaspora Circle is having that comprises of about 267 houses. We've already constructed 67 units. Those houses have been bought by members of the Diaspora Circle from here. They send the money to the circle, we put up the plan for them, we construct for them, and we finish. Now, those houses have been constructed for them while they're here. Some of them have not even been to Kenya, and occupation has already started coming into play. Awesome. Now, that is one of the projects we do have, and it's worth about 200 million right about now. And that's our second project that we actually embarked not too long ago. The first one is the Isinya Konza bypass, where we have about 175 acres that also belongs to Kenyans, just by the Konza Technopolis. So
this is good.
Yeah, so we are true to our word, and we are very happy to also hear that we have other diaspora circles that are also within. But ours has always been used as a prism by the government to ensure that they check and see how we are doing to measure what the others are doing. And one other thing that I'll actually put in place is that the leadership of the organization is so central to the members that every year we conduct elections and we definitely change that rotary system based on what the law says. So I welcome every person who's not a member of the circle to go to the website. We'll provide the details of the website in a little while. And we have competent staff members who are able to deal with all the issues that we do have. Our corporate office is in Upper Hill in Kenya. We don't have an office in the US for the simple reason that it's so expensive maintaining an office in the diaspora when you're actually investing in member funds. We can't afford to use member funds to invest in certain things in here. We have to save them the money. Sure. So the numbers that you call at the office in Kenya are the numbers of the US. So when you call a 678 number, it rings in Nairobi, the staff members pick up, and then your business is actually attended to. So awesome. If there's any more information, the website is there. I can also be reached. We have a vast team of officials around who can also take part and assist in any way we can.
Awesome. Thank you so much. One of the things that we need to do in the Trumpet of Hope is to support people who are doing due diligence with their projects and with their investments and with their promises. People who are kusema na kutenda, and that becomes very, very, very good. Thank you so much, Ralph, because of that very important thing. I want to recognize everybody who is coming in. This is the Trumpet of Hope. My name is Captain Joragawa Jerry, and together with us tonight is one of the One Voice heroes of the Kenyan diaspora, and I want to thank everybody who have participated in making the Trumpet of Hope a media house that can for sure meet its mission and our goal to blow the trumpet of hope, that we can make it together as a team. Hey, Ralph, there's this issue of the need of coming together as Kenyans in the diaspora without or cutting those boundaries of religion, tribalism, and age, gender, and economic classes, or even geographical areas, and we come together as one big Kenyan team in the diaspora. I don't know what you have to say about that, the unity.
For me, I believe in the oneness of our country, the oneness of our people. I think I'm an example of that because I have worked, I have lived with, and my family members have also been from many communities in my country. I think in the oneness of our community, Kenya, there's a lot of power and strength in harnessing our resources. And I'm not trying to beat down the fact that we are, of course, we come from certain tribes. Tribes are important when we have them because they're part of who we are. We cannot get rid of those. But you see, even as we talk about tribes right now, what we're saying is um, um, like my children, for example, they don't even know Kamba. So it gets to a point where, and I'm not saying that with pride because we've been here for so long, and most of the time when they talk Kamba, it's when, for example, when you have the grandparents when they come over, you find that those children at some point end up knowing each other a lot more using the national languages that we do have. So it's important to really grow together as one community where we harness all our singular affiliations and grow them for the betterment of all of us together.
Sure.
Because one community has a strength over the other, and the other strength of the other community is also important to the other. That also comes into the same thing when you talk about age. We are all of different, diverse ages. As you get older, you become experienced in certain things. You bring that wealth of knowledge to the younger people behind you. And we all grow together. So really, it's important we just get together and become stronger together and be who we are as a unit. It's powerful that way. Yes.
That is important. I want to thank God because of everyone. Maggie Maisha, asante sana. Wamboi Kanash, thank you so much from California. Penny Pesh, thank you so much. I see you from Bakersfield in California. Suzanne Maina, thank you so much. And all the comments, I can read them, I can see them. Thank you so much for seeing that we look good. Suzanne Maina, asante sana in Alabama. Mudogo itoa Winnie Wangoi. Jumbo America, tuned in. Thank you so much. And Alice Kehio, asante sana. We are good. Sarah Wawero from Seattle, Washington, asante sana. Jen Mushene, thank you so much from Massachusetts. Ben Koisava, Elda, thank you so much. Hey, I salute you. Great man. I know we are having a show together one of these fine days. Wamboi Kanash, hey, we. Nimeona. Thank you so much, Monica Bukinya from Colorado, Denver. Nyam Nyams, asante sana from Pennsylvania. She's our secretary in the Trumpet of Hope. She makes sure that everything is good. Asante sana, Nyam Nyams. Say hello to Martin. And then Evangelist Wairimo Okemani from the Prayer Closet down in Seattle, Washington, doing a very good job. Thank you so much. Maggie Warule, thank you so much, Elder, and my sister and pastor, Maggie. Very good in the issues of youth, and that is a welcome issue. We still have our plan. My sister, Pastor Maggie, and Mugo from Cayman Island. Thank you so much. I hope you're safe from the storms down there. Then we have Alice Akoi Rothothi, asante sana. Our financial, our Mr. Finance, Robert Major from Oklahoma. Thank you so much. And Mullah's Kitchen. He's our chef down here in Huntsville, Texas. He's our chef. So if you need samosas shipped to you, then this guy here, Mullah's Kitchen, will do it right away. The only person he doesn't take care of in that area, in those areas, is me, because I don't know why. Anyway, Michael Karu, thank you so much. Asante sana, Michael, and says hello, my friend Kenyan Londu. And then Wangeshi Rachel, she is one of our great supporters right in Seattle, Washington. Very, very, very influential in terms of telling people how to invest. We just launched her new guest house in Mombasa, and people are, oh yeah, she's doing very good.
Nice.
And then we have Professor Gerono Pirotich. Congratulations, Elder Kilondu and Captain Joroge. Wow, having you is also very nice. So tell these people something now that you see they are all here.
I am honored to have that audience. I'm seeing my fellow elders. They're all watching. I hope I'm representing them well. It's also very important to hear that there are people also doing quite some investments back in Kenya.
Yes.
It's commendable. And just being a part of this narrative is a beautiful thing. Karibuni sana. I'm honored and humbled to have you all here with me
Thank
and the
you.
captain. Thank you. Yes.
Very good. Let us now look at an issue that has been bothering people so much, the issue of children.
Okay.
We are living in a society whereby our children are torn between the Gikuyu with a Gikuyu mom and daddy, or the Kamba with a Kamba daddy and mommy, and the diaspora where they live now. How do we navigate so that our children can have an identity that they can be comfortable in and with, and an identity they can feel that they are comfortable being associated with? What is your secret? Because I can see and I can tell that there is a secret. So share your experience with your children and tell us what we need to do, we who are taking care of children.
Um, I'm glad you brought it that way to my children, because I'm not a subject matter expert on those matters, but there's something I've done for sure that has kind of worked. I don't think it really matters so much as to whether there's a parent who is from this tribe and the other, or any of that. But I think it's all about presence. The presence of a parent in a child's life is so important. It cannot be delegated, no matter how tough life is, because when you delegate the child to someone else, you as a parent, when the child comes of age, you are definitely going to have an issue with
Yeah.
that child. It's not about the money. I know we have certain issues where we have to raise and pay bills,
Yeah.
but there has to be a system where there is the presence of a parent at some point in every child's life, every single day. I have been lucky as a father to 4 children to have been a part of their lives ever since they were born. I know us men sometimes are bashed. You're always told, you hardly know how to change diapers and stuff like that. But we have done that with a lot of pride, and been a part of the children's growth from when they were very young to even this particular time when they're this kind of old. And what I've discovered is when you start early, when you're present in your child's life pretty early in life, it becomes a lot easier for you when the child gets older, because a child would have been brought up in such a way that it knows what it needs to do even in your absence. It knows, it has been trained, it knows what is right, what is wrong, what is expected of it. I had a lot of emphasis when mine were growing up. I'm lucky, my kids are big. I've got twin boys, and they're almost 30 now. I've got a daughter who is 27, and I've got a boy who is about 20 almost, who's still in college. And ever since I took those kids to school, I always used to take part in their homework. I always used to know what it was that they did in school. I used to go to the schools and watch and talk to the teachers and ensure that the teachers knew. I brought my Kenyanness to American schools here, where I had private sessions with the teachers, and I would tell the teachers if there was any problem with my children, I needed to be called. And they knew when the teacher calls and says there's a problem, we would always have an issue in the house. So it was tough, but fortunately the kids are not as bad, because they grew up knowing how to respect their elders, and they knew the importance of community, because around the kids, it's not just the father and the mother. We also have the extended family. We must ensure that the people who come around our children are respectable people who know how to respect the confines and what is needed of kids at certain ages. Those respectable uncles, aunties, or uncles who never were, but who are here by the dint of the fact that we come from the same home area. So when you have a good nuclear where you have certain responsible people around the children, I think the growth button is going to be nice. You have to shield them from a lot of things.
True.
And also where we live as communities, sometimes we have to deny ourselves and make sure that we are shielding our children from living in communities where, when you open the door in the morning, the minute you step outside there, you're looking at pictures that are not very good for them. You pluck those kids from there and take them somewhere where you know that even when they get out of the house, they're not going to hear profanity, though it's always there. It's everywhere. You just have to bring them up and know exactly how it is that what they need to know. So for me, it's about the presence and creating time for them, listening to them and understanding where they're coming from, and also for them to understand what you're going through as a parent, because life here is difficult. I mean, a father has got to go to the kitchen and clean the dishes because somebody has got to clean them. The sacrificial thing has got to be done. So we have to hold hands, all of us together, and make sure that the conducive atmosphere within the house is good. And also, even for us parents, we don't have to talk those bad languages, the bad words, or yelling at each other in front of the children. Some things can be done away from them. I don't think I've ever done that in front of my children. My children have never heard me say a cuss word. Never. Just because I chose that they will always get to hear the right word anytime I'm talking to them. I've never beaten or punished a child for no reason. And my punishment is reasonable because you have to understand and let the kid know that you're punishing the kid because of certain things, so that when the kid gets out of there, it knows it's been punished because of a certain thing that it did. But not just coming up into the house, you're screaming, you're doing a lot of things, and then it ends up being another issue where the child starts becoming rebellious. So it's all about that has actually helped me, have kids who have been successful in this country. I've not seen some of them in a while. My firstborn son is a United States Marine pilot. He just came in from Japan the other day. He was out there working. He's back at his base in the US just about 2 weeks ago. His twin brother is also doing very well. He's an anesthesiologist at Emory Hospital. He's been to school, and I support them even when they're in college. I tell them, if you need a place to stay with me. I'll make sure you have all those things you try to cut on your college debt. So he took advantage of that. He's been in school for almost 12, 13 years, and I'm very proud of who he is right now. My daughter, the same thing. She's a banker out in Atlanta, but she's now moved out. She's out on her own. And now the young one, the one who is in college, he's the only one that I have in college. But I'm proud of those kids. And if it can be done, and I'm just saying this to encourage anybody else who has children out there, that if it can be done by me, a Kenyan kid who grew up in the same way like any other in Kenya, it can still be done here. It's just about denying ourselves a little bit for the first 18 years. And then after that, you'll have the freedom to do anything else that you want to do in your life. Because again, you live up to 100. So there's be a lot of time to do other things. But for the children, I think it's a sacrifice that we have to really make sure that they succeed, because it doesn't matter how much successful you are as a person. If the children are not successful, you are not successful. You will always have issues, because when you're in the house thinking that you're safe doing anything, a child of even 35 out there, your son or your daughter having issues, you'll always have something at the back of your head. But that peace of knowing that you've done your good job well with the children, that they're coming to you, when they're coming to say hello, they might not even bring you a pint of milk. I hope they will at some point, but for as long as they're taking care of themselves and they're not disturbing you, you're not worried about what they are doing, who they are with, I think it's a plus. So it's some little effort that starts early and ends up being reduced a little bit much later as they get older. Thank you.
Wow, that is very, very deep. I hope that we can be able to actually cut that particular segment and post it somewhere. That particular segment, because if at all there is a challenge, is the issue of parenting while in the US. We are so busy with so many things. Let's talk a little bit about investing in education for our children. Most of us came here while we were a little bit older. So we are still working doubles and triples, and sometimes we are forced to leave our children. We are forced to maybe, struggle so much. The importance of investing in our children when it comes to education, and two, while you add more pressure on that, talk about the issue of helping our children with the career choices.
Wow. That is very, very important. That's a very important question. A very important topic you brought about. And, where I come from, they normally say that all monkeys don't fit on the same swing at the same time.
True.
Each monkey has its own moment to get onto that swing and swing. By that, what I'm trying to say is we all have our own special, unique qualities and strengths and weaknesses also. I think I was a little bit blessed myself to have come to this country and got straight into business. I have never worked for anybody in this country. I've always worked for myself. And I think that way I created a lot of time for the family. The presence, like you said, I made sure that during certain times, I was available to be with the children all through until they grew up. For me, I made a decision that when I came to live in the US, when I moved in, I was not so conversant with the school system. I ended up investing in an area where the schools are not very good. So what I did was I made a choice, and I decided that since my children are not coming home with any homework, they're just coming home with one book, sometimes a pencil between the ear and sometimes the pants falling off. That to me never worked. So I decided to take them to private schools. And I'm only sharing this again to show the commitment that if you do what is right for your children at that age, you might end up being a little bit successful later. So I invested in the children by taking them away from public school. I took them to private school because that is what was available where I used to live at the time, which is still where I live today. And I made a conscious decision that I will be a part of their system as they went to school to know exactly what it is that they did. Then along the line, I ended up meeting a lot of Kenyan students in universities here who were having issues with their paperwork when it comes to going to college. So I used my business for them to get sponsorship to go to certain universities within the country. So as the kids grew up, I ended up now using the students who are here to become their not really tutors, their mentors. I had several students who used to go to Georgia Tech and Emory University and other universities. So every once in a while, I would introduce these kids to those colleges where they would go and see certain projects and activities being done. That also, notwithstanding the fact that in the schools where you take your children, you also have to make sure that you are also in sync with the parents who have the other children in the same class. What I mean is, it's important to have a relationship and figure out where these children are, what the parents normally do. So I also took advantage of that. There were pilots within the parent system of the classes where my children were. There were doctors, there were people of all professions. So the children would keep on oscillating between homes to figure out what professions these were. And for some reason, my children knew exactly what it is they wanted when they were growing up. My son made a decision of becoming an anesthesiologist when he was in 8th grade. He knew that that was a career that he needed. And he took it up, and he ended up with it many years later with about 4 degrees in place in the pocket. So that part of making sure that that network of the people who matter, because again, even us as parents from Kenya, we are not so well versed with the advancements of education in this country. There are so many new professions that are coming up over time. There are new things that we had no idea of. So opening those channels and getting those networks and wanting to find out where the children would have an interest and taking the children there and showing them and letting them cultivate their interest in there is a success, because once the kids know the challenges ahead and what kind of opportunities there are, then the children will be able to fit into the society and take the career choices that are actually important for them, especially now and moving forward. Sometimes you might not be very lucky to have those kind of opportunities. And that's why I'm also saying, even in government schools, public schools, there are public schools that have those kind of opportunities where we can always try to be on top of things and being a part of the system by trying to dig out what it is that is available for these kids to start knowing and introducing them to these things well in advance. In my house, I had a mantra that we always used to say that every day, that it is not difficult, it can be done because it has been done by somebody else before. And I told them, since we're in this country, it is always very important to figure out what kind of career choices you're going to take, because we are here in the first world, the place where there are good colleges where people from all over the world are trying to get to. So why should we just go for the ordinary? Why don't we go for the best? Why don't we think about the opportunities that are here and go for that? So once you instill that on children as they grow, really, I think at the end of the day, they're going to be successful in whatever they're trying to do. All you need to do is show them and guide them, and they'll walk in there and they'll show you what they can do by themselves. So I think we have a role to play in terms of helping the children in trying to identify what they need to do or what opportunities there are without forcing them to become what they don't want to become. So yeah, it can work. It can work.
That is deep. That is
Yeah.
deep. I hope that we are listening. I hope that you, as a parent, you're listening. You have your son, you have your daughter. I don't know what they are watching right now. I don't know what they are doing in their room. I don't know what they are doing while you are watching and listening to this program. This is supposed to be theirs. They need to know that Ralph Kilondu just came here from Machakos, direct, and right now he's a son. He's a marine pilot. One of them, by the way. And I think this is a discussion that we need to have with our people. It is a discussion that we need to have with our people. I don't know where, I don't know how, but it is a discussion that we need to have because we have to break the cycle of poverty and reliance and independence on somebody else.
I agree.
And I think that is the only thing that that works. I want you to repeat something about mentorship, whereby you connect with your son or your daughter with somebody else who is succeeding in a particular area, as far as mentorship and is concerned.
Yeah, mentorship is very, very important. And remember, I started by talking about networks when I talked
Yes.
about partnerships. It is very important for you as a parent to build a network of people who will help you advance what you really want for yourself and your family. You have to identify those people who will help you cross that path. And if you're not aware of what you need to do, I think there are resources where you can actually sit back and figure out where you can get some information that can help you make your children succeed. Even as a parent, I think what normally happens is you can look at your child and you can tell that this kid is good at certain things.
Yeah.
Just by looking at what they normally do in the house. Maybe the toys they play, the things they touch, maybe outside the hard work or something of that kind, or the things they talk about, or even what they do in school. You can actually pick out and start noticing certain things. The best thing you can do to prepare that child is to walk that kid towards that area and find resources that can help the kid discover that talent a lot more. You can use a local library, you can use networks of friends, you can use the resources at the school, or you can, if you're lucky enough, the kid will have made up its choice on what it really wants to do. It has to lie without, not within. Because sometimes as a parent, if you tell kids what you want them to do, they rebel. They don't want to listen to what daddy or mommy is saying about what you think. No. But if you bring it out in such a way that you're trying to show a kid why it is that they need to go in a certain way. For example, life has changed so much. What used to be useful or what used to be important 20 years ago is actually obsolete right about now. Talking about careers that are actually going to be helpful down the line and walking them through that path, using those networks, I think works very, very well. And also, if parents can think of a way of making sure that they're taking their kids to schools that can help their children develop some future somewhere. I mean, we are Kenyans, and if we've struggled to come to this country from Kenya, I think we are better off than people who have never left their country here. You can make a decision on where you want your child to go. You can do your little work, your little homework, and figure out now. Between the first kindergarten and maybe fourth grade, there's not much of an issue there because all these kids are the same around that age. I think still things start turning around when they get to middle school. Where as soon as they're finishing middle school, now as soon as they start going up, you start seeing traits because I think that's when kids are pulled from other schools and then they come over. Then they start developing different habits. Those habits and the way those parents talk when they're with their children is what you also have to look at and figure out whether your children should be listening to this kind of conversation from parent X when they're talking to their kids. I mean, this thing happened to me too. You'd get your kids from the Boys and Girls Club. You get out there, there's a mom who's so upset. She's using those powerful words, and you're looking at her. You're like, what's going on here? Then you realize, no, this is not where the kids need to be. They need to go elsewhere. So you have to shield them. And as you shield them, then you think about those moments where you can lead them into certain mentorship programs that can help them grow into what you'd want them to be.
Awesome. Thank you so much. Before we proceed on, we are going to take a few seconds commercial break, and we'll be back to discuss about. We have been having issues of domestic violence, and more so. I want to narrow this to our people who have migrated from Kenya to the diaspora. And in that area, we're going to address the issue of how do you advise men to transfer from our culture, where we were brought up, where the man as a man, to the US, whereby I have to learn how to change diapers, how to clean the utensils, how to assist my wife to cook, these things. The other thing is, how do you, or what is your advice to the ladies or the wives on how to navigate these issues of balancing work, family, the society, what the people expect, all these things. We are going to discuss that shortly. But before then, this is the Trumpet of Hope. I am happy to have you wherever you are. And I want to tell you of my friend who have my friend Pastor Mboro. They have written a very nice, wonderful book which you need to get a copy. Let me make sure that I give you that right away so that you can know what I'm talking about. Yes, good. Okay. Yes, as we continue, this is the beatitude of a great child. Yes. Let me make sure that this one comes right. Awesome. Yes, that is the book. It's called Beatitude of a Great Child.
Is a book that will change your child's attitude and make them great. It will make parenting easier by helping your children be positive thinkers and nurture their greatness in them. By reading this book, children will maximize and live to their full potential. Children will be confident to walk in their success and greatness. It is by reading this book that your child will acquire the characters and qualities to make them succeed in life. Let your children learn to confess is to possess, because death and life are in the power of the tongue. This is the book to buy for your kids, grandkids, nephew, nieces, or any kid you know so that you can change their destiny. Owning and reading this book is an investment that will benefit and change this generation and generations to come. Beatitude of a Great Child is available at lulu.com.
Thank you so much. That book is authored by Mary Mboro, the wife to Pastor Mboro from California, and it is a beautiful book to buy for your son or your daughter. Thank you so much, Evangelist Wairemo. Thank you so much, Mary Harley, from, let me see, is that Michigan? I think so, yes, Michigan. Shironene, thank you so much. I hope that my daughter is our ears right there. Zedi Zina from Canada, thank you so much. Shiro Joroge Lovelace, thank you so much. I am seeing her wedding some years back or some months back, I think. Jace Derango, thank you so much. I hope that Ken is somewhere listening to this program. And Mugo, thank you so much. Tabe Moreithi, thank you so much for being here. We are together, and I want to thank all of us who are here. Peku, Tabe Moreithi, Eunice Marovo, highly favored Esther Kagwema, asante sana. Washoa Maina, Sarah Wanjiro, Jen Jehia, Mama John, asante sana. Say hello to Daktari. I hope you're doing all right in Indiana. Winnie Wangoya, asante sana. We are doing this together, and it is becoming very, very encouraging and also very informative. Esther Wangeshi, Sarah Wanjiro, santeni sana for being here as we continue. Mula's Kitchen, learning a lot. All ears. Thank you. Let us continue. Remember this, that the trumpet of hope, and I always say this ministry is on air because of friends like you, just like the other stations that we have, TBN, the public broadcaster, the PBS, they are all on air because of friends like you. And in case you want to be part of the pillars of the trumpet of hope, you can cash up our treasurer, the person who takes care of Motherfu. She's called Bernice. In Washington, D.C. area, and that is her number. And it will be good to support the Trumpet of Hope so that we can continue broadcasting and doing these programs as we are doing, as we would wish to do better than this. Thank you so much. Ralph, let's come back.
Yes. Mm-hmm.
Domestic violence.
That's a hot topic, to be honest with you.
Sure.
And honestly, I'm a layman in that world, but I can say one or two things.
Sure.
That can be a little bit of help. You know, as somebody who has grown from, you know, all of us, I think we've all lived the same life we all had when we were growing up in Kenya. We used to have moments where we would not even look at our fathers more than once. When they say something, it's done, and you just move on and just run with it. Certain things like men not going to the kitchen to cook, wash dishes or change diapers, or just sitting down and just slouching on the couch and watching telly. Mm-hmm. When there are children in the house, when they need certain help, certain things that need to be done. I think it's only fair that we take ownership of what we have brought to the table and be responsible enough and respectful to whoever it is that we have. I mean, it goes both ways. You can be tired of someone, but at the same time, respect that person when it comes to how you relate with one another. If it gets too heavy for you to speak, take a walk and stand outside there, take a breather, or just walk around the community and come back and cool down a little bit. Because when you look at all these issues that we do have, at the end of the day, they're not, you know, when you take that action right on the spot, you just make it so aggravated in such a way that by the time you sit back and you look at yourself, you'll ask yourself, what is it that you are thinking in the first place to find yourself in that kind of a situation? So for me, I think respect is very, very important, and being a part solution helper in the chores in the house. I mean, it could be homework, it could be cooking, it could be cleaning a house. I mean, there's no role that is so special for one person compared to the other. Mm-hmm. These are things that have to be done because everybody is working at the same time. You wake up, you go to work, you come back in the evening, everybody's tired. So those responsibilities have to be shared. Some of us have not been very lucky to have some of those opportunities. Mm-hmm. We've been single and, find that circumstances would make you just be the dad and the mom at the same time or something of that kind. But it's very, very important to understand that the minute you find yourself in the house and you have children, you drop everything down. And like I said, the first 18 years is all it takes. Then after that, everything just flows. Those lines are very important when they're defined, defined in such a way that you know what your limits are, you know where your boundaries are, things you should not say when the children are there, things that you should not say when you're annoyed. Just get upset and go bite your lip out there and come back when you've breathed out a little bit and come and just apologize or just sleep off and wake up a fresh person and start a new day, because all these things have consequences. Remember, when you have issues with your significant other, your children will never succeed. There'll be a problem at some point, whether you like it or not. You might think you're doing too well, but at some point there'll be an issue where, as the kids grow up, you find that there are certain things that are not working too well. So for me, I think it's all about respecting one another and giving each other space, sticking to your lane, and not, even with the children, you have to understand the individuals in their own right. They have to be listened to when they say. You don't have to just bomb them all the time with things that you think are right for them just because you're the parent. Remember, you're the person who's telling them things to do and you're not even doing them yourself. So it's good to draw that line and make sure that what you're telling them is you're engaging them so that everybody feels that they have space in the house, that they belong, that when they sit in their corner, like I have adult children, I can't go bulging in their rooms when they're here. I have to be respectful. I have to call and find out whether somebody can come down to my office, for example. I have a home office here. So even then, when they come to me, they have to come in such a way that they know that by the time they get to me, they have to go through certain things because I've taught them. So it's a growth pattern that starts from the word go. And when you find that you have those systems in place where you know what your confines are, you've expressed yourself in such a way that everybody knows who you are and the things you like and the things you do not like. I think it's going to be a lot more respectful that way. It's not easy because sometimes some of these things we bring them here from our homes back there. As we were growing up, we used to see that stuff kind of happening. But surprisingly, for example, when my dad came in the first time, I never had a lot in common with my dad. I used to respect him so much. But my dad told me one time when he came over to Atlanta on his way home, he told me he loved me at the airport at Hartsfield. I almost fell. I almost collapsed when my dad told me that. I was like, oh my God, my dad has a heart finally. So we have to soften those hearts as men and just be there for the kids and others and express our feelings for them. Let them know we're also persons and we can also relate also in that aspect. So I think for me, it's just about those drawing lines and doing things that you should not do because even outside, when you go out there and you do anything wrong, you'll be caught. You can't run away from the laws in this country. Whoever you are, you will be caught in an instant. So why bother? Why do you start doing things that you know will not even take you anywhere? Just do what is right. If you're so aggrieved, just bite your lower lip. If you're a person who likes taking coffee like me, take your coffee and just chill. Have a man cave somewhere you can go and hide yourself and just stay there until things just come back down. Or you also develop a circle of friends who you can be talking to whenever there are issues. Somebody to talk to is somebody who can help you calm down whenever situations like these ones come up. So it's still the community thing. We have to get together and embrace ourselves and talk and be there for one another. I think that's what it is.
Thank you so much. Now, we are doing this. If you have a question for Ralph Kilondu, I like calling him RK. If you have a question to him, you can just send a question or even a comment. This is a man who is blessed. This is a man that it would be beneficial to just sit down and listen to him because there's a lot of wisdom out of experience. He has been taught about life and he is doing very well, and I'm happy to sit with him and even just listen to his wisdom. Now, I don't know what is your message to the church. We have churches and we have these community leaders. As one of the community leaders, what would you tell them so that they they can continue being or playing the roles that the community demands or maybe expects from them?
The church is a critical element in our growing, even from the word go when we were children. I remember my dad he never went to church at first, but he made sure he went to church on Sunday. Every Sunday, he would make us ready and we would all walk to church, where church was, where we used to live in Nairobi. I know the power of the church, especially when it comes to the children, where you find that when you take children to church and they commune there with other children and have that mentorship with the pastors and the leadership of the church, there's a part of their life that is being molded. And you come to realize that is so because even today with my children who are old now, they never miss church. They go to certain churches that belong to them because they grew up knowing that church is important. I'm saying this to let the pastors and people of the church know that we are looking towards them for leadership. We want them to be the leaders who work together in such a way that we don't see rivalries and issues arising from here, there. We want them to have that union of sorts where when we come to them, we are coming to them to seek solace and understanding and help whenever we have issues. We want them to respect themselves in such a way that when we see them, we know, even before they say anything, there's an element of that godliness somewhere that helps you look at the world in such a way that there is a caring person next to you. And they don't have to be the people who will always read for you that holy book. Just their presence in your life in many other areas will always help us become better children. So that unity of church is important. I wish many of them would, come together and form big churches that belong to all of them together instead of having so many churches everywhere. But again, I don't want to get into that because it's a big thing, and as long as they're serving the purpose, I think it's a good thing. But we look towards the church for leadership and guidance, especially when we have all these issues that we're having, family issues, things about the youth that are having issues out there, suicide and all that. We count on them in a lot of ways. I've been able to work with some of the churches, especially in Boston area, where I've been able to go and talk to men. I was invited to one church in Chelmsford about 2 years ago, and we had a good moment to sit and talk with men, and it was a beautiful, enriching experience. So those kind of relationships are very, very important because they bring us all out and they bring us together in such a way that all of us realize if I was having a problem of some kind, I've been able to discover myself through the other person that I met in that church who is having something a lot more serious, and I can become a better person, or I'm not the only person going through the same thing. So they have a big role to play. We support the church system, we appreciate them, and we love them all. They are wonderful people among us because they've done a lot for our Kenyan community in this country.
Thank you. Before we conclude, I know we are 6 minutes past the hour. Before we conclude, I would just have two issues. One is, and you mentioned a little bit of it, you had an opportunity to go and sit with the men. I know we have so many ladies also listening, but if you were just to mention a few pointers to the men who are listening. This is just for the men. Let's assume that the ladies are not listening. What would you tell? What are those few things that you would tell men who migrated from Kenya and they are now in the diaspora at whatever age of life they are in? Others are our parents, others are our children, but they are men. And we recognize Pastor Lucy Painter. Thank you so much, and greetings to you. Greetings from Samuel K. Karaoke. You can see him somewhere. Samuel K. Karaoke. Say hi to my friend, man of wisdom. And Robert Asheri, Daktari, asante sana for this. You are just a great person. Thank you, Captain Joroge and Ralph. We are proud. We are proud of you all. Thank you. Okay. This
now,
one is just for the men.
Yeah, well, I'm going to pretend that there are no ladies within, and just say one or two things to the men. We were born to lead. We were born to guide, we were born to nourish and to support. I think it is important for us to try and just do that, and try to be a little bit patient with the people who are around us. Uh, Try to have a keener ear to listen and not quick to judge. If it gets to a situation where you're feeling that something is really getting you to a point where you don't know what to do, take a back seat, run away from that moment, and seek help from any man that you know, or just sit back and go under a mango tree somewhere and think through it. But don't be the first one to speak something that will be very difficult for you to take back. Those little things are the ones that mess us a lot. And if we were slow to judge, and uh, if we went out with a vigor to get it, because for me, I have a mantra that tells me it's whatever it is that a man has done, I can even do that better. Being that person who will go out and do the best for your family, don't give that up. Whether the lady has the best position out there or something, just do your part and go and get it. Bring your little pack of flour in the house and show that leadership that yes, you are in charge through thick and thin. And even if it's so adverse that you're not able to do certain things, remember, all days are not Mondays. There's a day that is going to come that's going to be a Wednesday, and things are going to get better. Let's also look around us and make sure that the people we have around us are the people who want us to sit up tight and well wherever we are. I have one thing that I'd like to say, and it's about the 10-year rule that I've lived by. Every 10 years, my life has to change into the next 10 years. What I'm trying to say is what I was 10 years ago is not what I am today, because I'm getting older. The strengths that I used to have 10 years back are not the same strengths that I have today. So if there is something that I should have done during the first 10 years, let me accomplish that in that span of time and get on to the next 10 years and do something a little bit better and a little bit conducive to that particular time, such that by the time you're doing several decades later, you are actually able to sit back and say, you know what? I have been able to do 1, 2, 3, 4 things by the age of 50. You know, you find things are finding you when you're there. Don't procrastinate. Get going. Look at the examples you have around you of people who have done certain things. Find out what it is that they've been able and how they've done it. At whatever level, a single step will move you to your destination over time. So the 10-year rule has worked well for me. Thank you.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Thank you. I'm having very positive comments from some very key and great people. I have Dr. Joe Karogi, the founder and the president, the founding president of KCFA, and he says Daktari is putting it greatly. Trumpet of is for this season, and he appreciates your work so much.
Thank you.
And it's good to listen to such words from great people like Dr. Joe Karogi and Geshi Asante Sana. I see Agnes John. Thank you so much. We are concluding our program. Steve Daniels, I don't know where you're hiding, and I don't know whether you took notes. Wangeshi, thank you so much. I got your message. Thank you so much for your message. I know you are at work. Thank you so much. This is interesting. I want us to have a conclusion of this program. This is a conclusion. So, out of the many things that we have discussed tonight, what are some of those pointers that you want people to make sure that they don't forget? Please include the issue of investing in our children.
We have said a lot of things. I think just picking them out, it's important that we are present where our children are. Just being there, however tiring it is, will pay you rewards when the kids are gone. There's no greater satisfaction than knowing that your children have succeeded and that now you're able to sit back and do certain things, because I'm able to do a lot of things now because I don't have that load on me. I'm able to do cross ocean activities from here, even farming. You can do everything if you put yourself in alignment from the word go. So let's have that presence so that you get done with that business of taking care of children, so that when they're old enough now, they'll start remembering you and the things that you did. Number two, let's develop networks that are helpful to all of us. For me, that is what has worked, because if it was not for the power of networking, I would not be where I am today. That has been key. You are just as worth as your net worth. If you develop that and you keep it in place, I think you're going to be where you need to be over time. And don't be in a rush to do things just because somebody else has done. I said every monkey has its own turn at that swing. We cannot all be the same. We can all strive to be better. If we made efforts to come to this country from Kenya with nothing, or with whatever we did, and found ourselves here, there is nothing that prevents us as Kenyans. And I'm sorry if there's an American who's watching, I have nothing against them. We are Americans too, but I'm talking about people who are originally from Kenya. There is nothing that can prevent you or should prevent you from being the best that you can be in this country. This country is a country that has a lot going. And the reason why we have to go vote is to help us get to that level where we are going to be guaranteed of those rights, that our children are going to go to good schools, that they're going to benefit in as much as the other children who are here. And even you personally, you're going to benefit from what this country offers. I don't believe in seconds in this country. If there's somebody who is able to get certain things up there, I think even me, I am entitled to get those things. So let's develop that attitude of not being defeated. The defeatist attitude should never live within us.
Awesome.
Each person in us is strong enough to make it to the next level. And let's not be complacent with where we are. That's why I'm talking about the 10-year rule. You have to think about moving to the next step after 10 years. And I'm talking about 10 years because 10 years is a good period of time to mature, to grow, and to accumulate whatever wealth you do have, because you have to invest in yourself as you get older. It's not enough to say that you're going to live off your 401 whatever or your social security and stuff like that. Some of us are lucky we have our ancestral land in Kenya. Not many people in this country have that. You cannot say you're here and you forget what is out there, because there are people who are dying to have assets outside where they do live. Mm-hmm. Let's make this our tourist home. Of course, we do live here, but let's make home better, because at some point we'll have to go there and see what is going on. And you don't want to go to that place and start living like how you lived when you were there before you left. Live in Kenya just in the same way as you live in this country. It can be done. It's being done. We are doing it. I think, let me not add more. I can say a lot of things, but I think that would work. Yes, thank you.
So if somebody would want to connect with you for whatever reason, I know there is the golf, I know there is the Diaspora circle, that is key, and I would wish, if somebody would want to connect with you, which is the best and the easiest way of connecting to Ralph Kilondu?
Now, let me probably give out an email address.
Yes.
rkilondu@gmail.com.
Kilondu.
Londu@gmail.com.
I think that is easier. That's
Yeah,
good.
yeah, and if it's about Sacco matters, I think we need to now just go to the website and follow the instructions on the website. Send an email on Sacco matters to the email info on the website.
I think that is
Exactly.
the
Yeah.
reps.
Yeah, that's a website. But then on that website, still there are links that will guide you to the respective correspondences within, because our institution is very big right now. I'm not able to handle all of that from even where I sit, because we are doing a lot of work at certain levels, because we are trying to make the institution a lot more. There are certain things we are doing. So I may not be able to say a lot more about that organization like I would, but I would be certainly I'll certainly be glad to help if there's any person who would need some help. But for quick help when it comes to Sacco matters, I think that's where the messages need to go. I will always watch from the back scenes and see what is going on in there. If my name is picked out, I'll step in and help in as much as I can. Unfortunately, life is so busy. I mean, you're running a business here, you have such organizations running around, it might take too long. But if that happens, I'll be able to help. Yes.
Thank you so much. We appreciate. Thank you so much. And I don't know whether you have one or two people to appreciate. I know Dr. Shiri is here. You can mention one or
Yes.
two people who have made this possible.
Absolutely. He's one of them. Dr. Shiri is a colleague of mine. He's one of the conveners of the Global Diaspora One Voice. We have Dr. Koisaba. We have Madam President for KESA. And a lot of people. I work with so many people. I might forget some of those names, and it might not be very nice. Even Dr. Karogi, I sit in the Council of Elders with him.
Yeah.
And I saw him calling a couple of times. I apologize. I was not able to pick up his call because I was having this conversation. In a nutshell, I want to thank everybody who actually took a moment to be a part of this conversation.
Thank you.
And for you, especially, you've been very patient with me, because you've been having this discussion since January. No, since the last year or the year before, when there was a KESA conference in Atlanta. I remember we were supposed to have something, but I think this is God's timing.
Sure.
That we've been able to get together. And I want to also commend you for this beautiful platform that you do have. I listen to you a lot, actually, almost every day. I see what you do, and you're doing a good job to serve our community out here. So thank you. And I'm really humbled and honored to have shared this platform today.
Thank you.
And let's keep in touch. Thank you.
Thank you so much. I wish you a very good night. God bless, and say hello to those great children and tell them they have made Daddy proud.
Thank you. I will. Thank you.
Thank you so much. Thank you.
Thank you.
Good.